SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Looking for a bank that puts you first? At Guarantee Bank, we make banking easy. Online, on your phone, or in person. Trusted service, smart solutions. More than a bank, we're a community. Visit gbtonline.com and bank your way today.
Oh, yeah.
Good morning, Mississippi.
Everything gonna be all right this morning.
Mornings with Richard Cross.
Oh, yeah.
Here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Woo! Now, when I was a young boy, at the age of 5, my mother said I was gonna be the greatest man alive. But now I'm a man.
Tuesday, July 22nd. Good morning and welcome. Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Glad to be with you. Glad to be alongside Lance Tolbert. He is in the studio, pressing the buttons, spinning the records, bringing the hot opinions, all of those things. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Yeah, it's funny. Mosquitoes are resilient. And, we're about 100 yards into this building, and I just looked over, and there was a mosquito sitting on my coffee cup. I'm like, how in the world did you make it this far?
Yeah.
They're smart, though. Goodness.
They are.
Yeah. I've got a few bites on me from yesterday, so that's how I'm
Survivors.
doing. Yeah, surviving the mosquito onslaught. And, Hunter Biden's tirade, too. I had to talk to Mama after that and, said, can I talk like that? She was like, no, you don't need to do what other people do,
I don't think that's a good idea.
No.
I had a high school English teacher, Dr. Lynn Murkison, rest her soul, who said that profanity was just a public confession of a lack of vocabulary. Mm-hmm. And if that is indeed the case, Hunter Biden knows about 4 words.
Yeah.
Because
Joe Clooney being one. I mean, Clooney being
George
Clooney being one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us this morning. We'll get into that a little bit. What was that? Was that at the behest of Papa Bear? Did Daddy Joe, former President Joe Biden, ask his son to go out and do a 3-hour podcast in which he absolutely laid waste to all things Democrat? Or was this just another one of Hunter Biden's good, well-thought-out decisions that he's made on his own?
He had a nice setting, a little tree and flowers, but that had nothing to do with the conversation.
Yeah,
that was a way overkill for. They should have just put him like next to a garbage can, right before the truck shows up. That'd have been a perfect spot for that
haul
podcast.
Him off in it.
Yeah, just pick him up, throw him in there too. Say, whoopsie daisy.
Yeah,
we found the laptop in here too, Hunter. You can have it back.
Hey, you remember the weather forecast yesterday?
Yeah, it's hot.
Same today.
Exactly.
Same today. Oxford, few clouds, mostly sunny, 97. Columbus, mostly sunny, 98. I'll go a little farther south in the state. Clinton, mostly sunny, 97. Few clouds mixed in. Ocean Springs, mostly sunny, 96. The heat dome is in full effect right now. Ceasefire text line is open to you at 601-879-4395. Every sports fan can tell you fast speeds win games. That's why Ceasefire brings you fast every day. Fast fiber home internet, fast nationwide 5G wireless, fast IT solutions that move as fast as your business. Learn more at cspire.com. Cspire, inspired by you. I'm sure she was a proud mother. If accomplishments of her sons are, how you measure what kind of a mother you are, then this one was about as good as there's been, but it was not a life that did not have tragedy and did not have stress. Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy, born on this day in 1890, described as an American matriarch. Yeah. Mother of JFK, RFK, and Ted. Born in Boston, Massachusetts. You, did you watch the Ted Kennedy movie?
Man, I've seen everything on the
All
Kennedys, but the Chappaquiddick one, yeah, that was good stuff. With the Clark guy that played him did a really good job. But don't forget about Joe Jr. He was quite a guy as well, but had an unfortunate passing. So, but yeah, the Chappaquiddick, that was I thought very well done. I mean, it's as far as the movie goes, I've always been fascinated with that one because it's just a terrible story. It seems like it was not intentional. It was not like something nefarious. It was just accidents happened.
But it was
then
the terrible decisions.
Then the cover-ups after it. Yeah, I mean, accidents happen. People understand that. But, everything that happened after that is just completely cuckoo, and you just try to sew it together for it to make sense, and it doesn't. And I think the movie does a good job of trying to, cover the story as accurately as I guess the knowledge is out there.
Yeah. JFK, RFK, the Lion of the Senate, and Ted.
Yeah.
Bob Dole was born on this day in 1923, former American politician. He was a Republican senator, presidential candidate, ran in 1996, born in Russell, Kansas. Generally thought to be a good man.
Yeah. Hey, my name is Bob Dole. My friends call me Bob Dole. But he's a great guy. I mean, how could you not like Bob Dole?
Alex Trebek, born on this day, the Canadian-American Emmy award-winning TV game show host, 1984 until 2020, the host of Jeopardy.
I'm going to have to go back and look at High Rollers here.
Yeah, he was the host of High Rollers before Jeopardy, 1974 until 1980, born in Ontario.
Hey, is there two people that look better with a mustache more than Alex Trebek and Gerard Gibbert? You didn't know where I was going with that one.
I wondered, and then it happened, and it was like, okay.
Yeah. But no, Trebek had a nice broom there for
a
long time.
Long time mustache guy.
Been pretty cool, though, to be the host of Jeopardy. I mean, you kind of learn some stuff along the way. You come across as a know-it-all. You've got the cards, though. It always kind of is like, how much of this does he really know? Yeah. You never know. Dude, pretty smart, though.
You always had the funny clips that emerged on the sports categories when the contestants had no idea.
Looking at each other like,
Yeah. he read the clue for different... I remember him reading the clue in one particular. The answer was about the defense for the Minnesota Vikings, and the answer was the Purple People Eaters. And before he gave the answer, he goes, "I will die if you get this one." It was great. Danny Glover, born on this day in 1946, Lethal Weapon, The Color Purple, and so many others. Human rights activist, born in San Francisco.
Is it best line, Danny Glover? And it can't be said on air completely, but I'm getting too old for this bleep. And Lethal Weapon, the first one.
I think that's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Man, I'm getting too old for this.
Alan Menken, 75-year-old American composer. I guess he'd be 76 today.
This is where you got on this one, yeah.
Well, I know, but
I'm impressed,
just give it some thought here. 8-time Academy Award-winning composer, and he had the musical score for both Disney's Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, I mean, you're crushing it. You're still getting royalties on that.
Oh.
I mean, forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Yeah. And as a nod to my good friend Brian Haydad, Shawn Michaels.
There you go.
Born in 1965, pro wrestler, 4-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, 2-time Royal Rumble winner, Grand Slam champion, Triple Crown champion, 2-time WWE Hall of Famer. Would you be inducted into the same Hall of Fame twice?
I guess you're that good.
I guess.
Like this guy. Was it weight classes or was it just in general?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Don't really care enough to look it up either. It struck me as, hey, I mean, we've never had a 2-time inductee into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame.
That would be interesting. Like you had
Yeah.
a two-way player and they inducted him for pitching and hitting, but 2 different inductions.
All right, I mean, what if just like, we know Nolan Ryan's already been inducted into the Hall of Fame, but doggone it,
Let's just do it again.
he had 7 no-hitters. Let's induct him again. Let's just run it back.
What was it? Did he have 8 going into the 7th? No, it was 31 no-hitters going into the 7th inning. That was, yeah.
Remarkable. Got some news headlines coming up for you, a few sports headlines this morning. Excited about our guest this morning as well, the president of Mississippi's Giant House Party, Scott Bounds. Representative Scott Bounds is going to stop by. That's in the 7 o'clock hour. And in the 8 o'clock hour, how about former St. Louis Cardinal player and manager Mike Matheny? That's coming up at 8 o'clock, 8:37 this morning. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk Mississippi. Just getting started. We're back after this.
From the Venable. Start your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
Rockin' B says, I've never seen these new boys, Richard and Gerard. Gerard has a mustache.
Yeah, he did back in the day.
Says he's still got a JT and Dave bumper sticker on his truck.
I've got the one in the office that I inherited that Paul gave me, and it's the Sarah Palin. I vote for Palin, and it says she kills her food, and it's like a green bumper sticker with yellow. That thing goes back a ways.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say one little piece of pop culture today, and some folks may know this and some may not, but Plan 9 from Outer Space, it was released today. Bela Lugosi, Ed Wood Jr. considered
considered as the worst movie ever made.
Well,
that one?
Yeah. So I was
You've
gonna
watched
say,
it, haven't you?
Of course. I mean, Ed Wood Jr. considered probably one of the greatest directors of all time. Even he had this flop, but it is considered one of the worst movie of all time. But I was going to say there's 2 others that I've rated along with this one, and one of them is Flash Gordon. That's with Sam Jones, and then Barbarella. So those are my top 3 worst movies I've ever watched. And Plan 9 from Outer Space it takes the cake, but it is worth your time. Now I did watch Revenge of the Nerds 3 yesterday, and it was excellent. So I cannot put at least top 3 of the Revenge of the Nerds. I haven't seen 4 in a while. I'm going to log that one soon, but I was impressed with Revenge of the Nerds 3. It had it had Booger in there, and it had Stan Gable. You had Skolnick, and I mean it was good, man. It brought back a lot of good memories. So if you haven't seen Revenge of the Nerds 3, it is a free watch on YouTube. So yeah, get after it, guys.
Oh, Lance. Oh, Lance.
The soundtrack from Revenge of the Nerds 3. Now I couldn't even find it. I was going to cut some up for you guys. But
My silence was not. We should talk more about this.
I'm serious. I was going to cut songs. I couldn't find any. I mean, none of them exist. It's like people you've never even heard of.
You.
It's like John. He did
Thank
this
you for
song.
that. Yeah. Sometimes we just don't need people to be the voice of reason. Like we got all of these, Jeff and a couple of others going, hey, maybe he was inducted first as an individual and then as a tag team. Like, I didn't need an actual reason as to why he was inducted twice. I just wanted to run wild with my theory of, hey. But no, that makes perfect sense. Shawn Michaels inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame 2 times because he was a Hall of Fame individual and tag team wrestler, according to many of you on the C Spire text line.
I didn't know that there was 2 classifications for tag team. I figured you were just a wrestler, and either you you wrestled or you didn't. But that's interesting.
Can you imagine what this journey would have been like? 1793, Alexander Mackenzie, on this day, finished the first transcontinental crossing of Canada, reaching the Pacific Ocean, becoming the first Euro-American to complete a transcontinental crossing of Canada. So, I mean, is that a deal where you start in Nova Scotia and you work your way all the way across and you go through the Canadian Rockies and you pop out on the other side and, oh, wow, there's the Pacific Ocean.
After probably a few bear encounters and dealing with some natives at the time. And I mean,
probably blew out a moccasin or two along the way.
You know it, man. I mean, think of the woodedness of just what we have here. And then although you go to Canada, it's a virgin forest as far as you could see. Back in 1793, though, I mean, it's not like you had really great weapons either. You're sitting there musket loading, bear coming at you. You better have some
sharpen
dudes
this
with you.
flint.
Where's my bear knife?
Yeah. On this day in 1923, future Baseball Hall of Famer, inducted only once, as far as I know, of the Washington Senators, Walter Johnson, became the first big league pitcher to record 3,000 strikeouts. He finished with 3,508. Did so in a win over the Cleveland Indians.
And
Mega.
With three
Mega.
fingers. And with 3 fingers, right? Walter Three-Finger Johnson.
Mega.
Got to make them great.
Thank you
again.
for your attention to this matter.
They were like, nah, we're not doing it.
Who? Cleveland said that?
I was at Cleveland.
I
made
mean,
a
people
release
have when people heard, they're going to go back to the Redskins, they're going to go back to the Indians, it was like, yes. And you know who was like leading the charge and leading the cheers? Indians themselves. We didn't want you to change this. We weren't disrespected. I mean, you found a few people to say that we were. Pretty cool when our name was on the side of the helmet.
There's always one person that'll ruin the good stuff. Yeah. Somebody out there that was upset about it, and they were heard, where the others, the majority, were not.
1994, former NFL running back, broadcaster, and actor. Do you know his name? O.J. Simpson pleaded absolutely 100% not guilty, quote unquote, of murder. One more Alex Trebek nugget for you.
Oh, nice.
And they did it because it was his birthday, so it made sense. 2024, the United States Postal Service issued a commemorative postage stamp honoring Alex Trebek, longtime host of Jeopardy.
Does anybody use stamps anymore? I mean, 2024, I guess. Maybe.
We buy stamps at Christmas to go on Christmas cards.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just hadn't done it in so long.
I'm going to say somewhere in the 3 to 5 times a year range, I will be like, hey, Jane, we got any stamps? That's about it.
And what do they run? What does like a one stamper cost now?
Oh, it's like it's like 54 cents.
Okay.
Maybe more than that even.
Yeah, I remember the last time I bought a book, it was a little while ago, and it wasn't cheap. It was like $20 worth of stamps or something.
Yeah.
You used to have to send stuff here and there, but...
Well, I mean, you remember you used to, I mean, gosh, dog, this is the...
I mean, they meter everything now, like in major...
Yeah, but I mean, this is your old, but... remember a 25-cent stamp? 78 cents?
78, 80, goodness gracious.
Wow.
Get a Tootsie Roll Pop for that.
We see, not many people buy stamps because we have had 4 different people tell us that stamps cost 78, 80, 73, 75, now 79.
Yeah.
Man, golly, do you...
obviously,
don't
people
you,
are not mailing as much.
Don't you know that people wish that they had just bought thousands and thousands
like
of those
5 cents.
forever stamps that were never going to run out back when they were like,
I remember when I was a kid, it was like 5 cents, wasn't it, for a stamp or something like that, or 10? It wasn't much.
You're old. I don't know.
I mean, I'm 50, but I mean, I remember being not very rich in college and having to mail stuff, and I don't remember going, oh my God, I got to spend $1 on a stamp.
More and more companies are moving back into the United States, and many of them are deciding to locate in Mississippi. Reshoring Initiatives 2024 and Q1 2025 report are out, and Mississippi is among the top 10 states for jobs created by reshoring. If you follow me on X at Mornings Cross. You would know this already. You would have had a chance to look at this chart. Projected data for 2025, so projected based on first quarter information, places Mississippi at number 3 nationally on reshored jobs with over 12,000 of them. Texas is number 1, big state, 40-something thousand jobs, ton of oil and gas industry there. Georgia was number 2, and then it's Mississippi.
It's a pretty impressive company to be in there.
Yes.
Keep saying Tate Reeves has done an amazing job of recruiting business into the state, and that's what Trump is trying to do at the national level, folks. I mean, that's how you're going to reduce some of this mess, is get people to come back here and build.
Governor said this is another really impressive accomplishment for Mississippi. We're reclaiming thousands of jobs from overseas, which will result in a lot more opportunity for Mississippians. In his second term as governor, Tate Reeves has overseen approaching now $40 billion in private sector investment, including major investments by Amazon, Milwaukee Tool, PACCAR, and Clark Beverage. According to the report, the sectors driving reshoring growth include transportation equipment, electronics, wood and paper products. Industries are among those that are experiencing the highest year-over-year increases in reshoring activity. There you go. Just
good work, Mississippi. Yeah, crushing it.
Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College has been selected as the recipient of a $700,000 grant from the Lowe's Foundation to support the college's skilled trade education program. One of 12 institutions nationwide awarded a 2025 Gable grant. The foundation announced its latest round of funding earlier this week, yesterday, in fact. $43 million invested across 28 states. Second time that MGCCC has gotten a grant from the Lowe's Foundation. Got $1 million back in 2023. And it's about expanding technical training and launching a commercial and residential construction technology program. Building on the success, going to launch evening electric technology courses to create a stronger apprenticeship program. Full-time faculty positions in construction management and electrical technology, construction skills lab, scholarships from $500 to $1,000 for students. Like, good stuff going on there. Mornings of Richard Cross, Super Talk, Mississippi. Back with you right after this.
Him once or twice, we stopped playing cards and shooting dice. He's in the jailhouse now.
From the Seabrook Payne Doc.
From Sumner to Summit to Summerall, Richard has something for you. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk, Mississippi.
That's right, we do have something for you. See, Theo Huxtable passed away. Malcolm Jamal Warner, teenage son Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show, described as a central cultural phenomenon that helped define the 80s, died at 54 in an accidental drowning death in Costa Rica. The investigation department said that Warner drowned after Sunday afternoon on a beach on Costa Rica's Caribbean coast, swimming at Playa Cocos in Limon province when a current pulled him deeper into the sea. Theo was the only son among 4 daughters in the household of Cosby's Cliff Huxtable and Claire Huxtable on the NBC sitcom. 8 seasons, appeared in all 197 episodes of The Cosby Show, earning an Emmy nomination for supporting actor in a comedy in 1986. I mean, it's sad what the legacy of The Cosby Show has been tainted because of some of the decisions that Bill made along the way, but at the time, absolutely appointment television. Did you watch The Cosby Show?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I was always like, knowing that Felicia Rashad was Ahmad Rashad's first wife. Or maybe I think it was her first husband. She had a few of them, but I always was blown away by that. It's like, oh my God, that's Ahmad Rashad's wife. So that was kind of my first.
And I hear Ahmad Rashad, and all I can think about is host of NBA Inside Stuff on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, no, he was all over the sports world at that time. Yeah. And I'm like, are they married, or is that like brother and sister? And then you learn, that's his wife for a good while there, till 2001.
News from the White House yesterday: President Trump reportedly caught off guard by the recent Israeli strikes in Syria and on a Catholic church in Gaza. That's according to Caroline Levitt yesterday. Comments a rare suggestion of daylight between Trump and Bibi Netanyahu, who have been more times than not very aligned on politics and foreign policy. Trump pushing for an end to the war in Gaza, trying to support the new Syrian government as the country emerges from years of civil war. Remember the Mideast summit back in the winter, early spring, and Trump had some good things to say about Syria and was trying to kind of give Syria a chance. Israel, not so much. Some of these Israeli military operations have threatened to complicate some of the United States initiatives there. Levitt told reporters that Trump has a good working relationship with Netanyahu, but he was caught off guard by the bombing in Syria and also the bombing of a Catholic church in Gaza. In both accounts, the president quickly called the prime minister to rectify those situations, Levitt said. All right. All right, time for your sports headlines, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com. So much happening at Pearl River Resort. Family fun, casino thrills, live entertainment. For the full list to keep up with what's going on, visit them online at pearlriverresort.com. That's pearlriverresort.com. A year after Southern Miss had no individual preseason award winners and won just one game, there's reason for optimism in Hattiesburg. 5 members of the Golden Eagles Ball Club, including 3 newcomers, were named to the preseason All Sun Belt teams. Redshirt senior quarterback Braylon Braxton garnered first-team All-Conference honors and was the 2025 Sun Belt preseason Offensive Player of the Year. All that means is people think he's going to be good. He was joined on the first team by grad senior Broderius Lewis, defensive back Josh Moten, and return specialist Ian Foster. Tight end Kyron Heath was named to the second team group as well. Last year, Braylon Braxton led Marshall to the Sun Belt Championship under head coach Charles Huff. He is the reigning Sun Belt Newcomer of the Year. Had 1,624 yards passing and 8 starts for the Herd, along with 610 rushing yards at 4 touchdowns, 19 passing touchdowns, just a couple of interceptions. Suffice it to say, folks are excited in Hattiesburg for this upcoming football season.
Well, they get to start it off right,
Mm-hmm.
Play a rival.
Got a chance.
Got a bunch of new guys.
Got a chance.
Got some print out there for you. People are expecting some things. Charles Huff is a heck of a coach, and what a coup d'etat to kind of get a guy like that. I was fired up, so I'm excited about Southern Miss's opportunities ahead of them. Think it's going to be
the Bulldogs.
That's what I'm saying. That first
season
game,
opener.
Man, that's the way you open them up right there.
Yep. Southern Miss picked fifth in the West. So we got 3 first-team all-conference guys. We got the preseason Offensive Player of the Year, and we got a 5th-place pick in the division?
It must be a loaded conference, buddy.
All right, we'll see. Hey, some Major League Baseball news.
Oh.
Ready for this?
With the Yankees, they win one?
No, they've been playing a little bit better.
I'm messing with you. I was trolling you on
Rich
Saturday.
Hill. You know that name?
Oh, yeah.
Rich Hill made his Major League Baseball debut in 2005 with the Chicago Cubs at the age of 25. Tonight he's going to pitch for the Padres at the age of 45, tying a big league record. Has not thrown a pitch in the big league since 2024. 20 years has pitched in 300 and something games, a bunch, 386 games in his career.
Yeah,
Boston, Dodgers, Cubs, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Yankees, Oakland, Mets, Padres, Minnesota, and the Angels. And now back with the Padres tonight.
Journeyman.
Man.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't be too worried after 300+ starts about missing a year. A guy like Rich Hill, he's going to come out there and throw strikes. He'll have his stuff. Those guys are like machines. They put that much time in. I mean, you're just on autopilot. A bad day happens so few when you're that good. It really does. Pitching's one of the harder things because about 20-30% of the time you just don't feel like you got your good stuff. You got to go out there and labor. Get up in the pro game, man. Those dudes they're not at 20 or 30%. They whittle that down well. So I think it'll be fun watching him tonight.
He's, upper 80s, low 90s with the fastball.
Love watching a guy that can pitch.
High spin rate. Going to move it around. Try and place it.
You said bomb that Shohei hit yesterday? Like 441 feet for his 35th bomb. Guy's got one of the prettiest swings of all time, I have to say.
Yes, it is gorgeous. For my money, Junior Griffin will always have the
Junior
most
Griffey.
beautiful.
I'm going with one of the best, but Junior Griffey's is just a work of art. Every lefty that I grew up with was like that. That's what you were mimicking, the Junior Griffey cut.
Nobody could quite do it, but everybody gave it a go.
Yeah, nobody could do that.
Everybody gave it a go. So those are your sports headlines. Just a couple of them for you this morning, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Find them online at pearlriverresort.com.
Give it a couple weeks, and what about 4? Pearl River Resort is going to be bustling with the sports book.
Oh, you're talking about the sports book?
Yeah, man.
I was thinking it's going to be bustling next week with all the extra folks in the area for the Neshoba County Fair.
You're right. I forgot. I mean, it's just we got the El Presidente on today. Presidente Bounds.
That's right.
I got an invite to his cabin last year. This year, I'm going to try to make it to his this year. Man, it was so hot last year. I made it to about 5 or 6 cabins.
Yeah.
Had that nice little color and a pink on me. Ate good. I was like, all right, it's time to head south. But, man, the fair is always a great experience. It's so unique. I have family from that neck of the woods, House, Mississippi, way out and out from town a bit. So I grew up going in and out. But what a unique place. You got to make it by Williams, and get you a pair of boots and some cheese. It's all kind of good stuff to do there.
Do you buy boots whether you need them or not?
Well, I mean, I'm one of those that I wear boots about every day, so I generally need a pair.
Okay.
Yeah, they get wore out pretty good.
I got you.
But these are about 10 months old, so I think they're doing okay. But I might have to get me a backup pair.
Never a bad idea. You start breaking them in so they're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to have to suffer through breaking a pair of boots in if you don't have to.
You know what happened 19 years ago today? 2006?
No.
Little bit of a cool front blew through because on September 21st, it was oppressively hot. Got a little bit of a break on July 22nd for Miss Jane and Richard's marriage day.
Oh,
19 years today, buddy.
Congratulations. What do y'all have, plans for dinner, or is this something that y'all have already done? Anniversaries of that magnitude are pretty important.
Yeah, we're pretty low-key on this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we have been talking for a while about what we're going to do for 20.
Yeah.
I had a little date night Saturday night.
Yeah.
Probably going to try. Kids are kind of going in different directions today, so it may be a little bit difficult. We're either going to try and grab a lunch or maybe a dinner tonight and just hang out a little bit.
Or just, put out a tent on the boat out there and do a little grilling, have fun with the boat.
That's not an altogether bad idea.
No, man.
Not at all. Hopefully I will not be with you on this day next year. At least for a day or two.
She'll be mad at you.
Yeah, we'll see. So happy anniversary, Jane. We're back with you after this.
The sun is up, the coffee is on, and you're starting your day right. Mornings with Richard Cross here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
luck on that great big old jackpot last night, which means Wednesday night's drawing up to $325 million. That's in the Powerball. Estimated cash value, $145,300,000. We did have a player that purchased a ticket matching 4 out of 5 balls, the white balls, plus the red Powerball. They won $50,000. That was at Keith's Superstore in Ocean Springs. But guess what? They only won $50,000 because they didn't drop the extra buck on it for the power play, and that would have doubled it. But congratulations on the $50,000. Not all bad.
There's not a lot of places you can put $1 down and double your money, like 50 to 100K. Dollars don't go that far anymore. But
I mean, you can barely buy a stamp with $1 anymore, Lance.
Exactly. That's where I was going with that.
Numbers for Monday night's drawing were 8, 11, 28, 33, 42. The Powerball was 2. The Power Play multiplier was 2. So we'll keep an eye on that Powerball jackpot as it continues to grow. Your update for the lottery brought to you by the Mississippi Lottery, mslottery.com, mslottery.com. A Grenada woman won just shy of $4,000 on a cash for scratch-off from Circle K in Grenada. A Loosedale woman won a $25,000 top prize on a Mad Money ticket from, is that LL Quick Mart in Loosedale? Picayune woman, $20,000 on a 200X Cash Blitz ticket from Rion's in Picayune.
I've seen Rion's a few times over the years.
Yeah.
Give it a try when I'm down in the Picayune area.
Congratulations to those winners. And remember that you can only win if you play. Mississippi Lottery, mslottery.com. Thomas in Greenwood says, so my 27-cent Forever stamps were an investment. Yeah, Thomas, you're late to the party, brother. That's what I was saying earlier, man. Don't you wish you had just bought thousands upon thousands of the Forever stamps when they cost a quarter?
It wouldn't have mattered, Thomas, if it was 27 or 37 cents. You tripled your money.
Yeah. Well, it's like T-bills and savings bonds. I mean, great investment.
Yeah, little did we know that stamp collecting was kind of back in, I guess, if you have the old ones.
So if stamps cost 87 cents, was that the number we landed on?
We were in that ballpark, 80 to 90
yeah.
range. Yeah.
Let's just say it's 87 cents. Wait, somebody gave us officially what it was. Said it had gone from 83 to 87.
Yeah.
So let's say a stamp is worth 87 cents. And you did buy a trove of stamps years ago. Let's say you bought $10,000 worth of stamps, Lance. So at 27 cents a pop, you bought those Forever stamps. So you got $27,000 invested in stamps. And now it's $87,000. What do you think somebody would actually pay you on the open market for those stamps? I mean, could you sell them at 87 cents?
That's a good. I mean, anything that has a market to it.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying, though. I mean, what do you think the actual market is? Like, if somebody was going to take 10,000 stamps off your hand, they'd be like, "Well, I'm going to have to spend them. I'll go ahead and buy. I'll give you 50 cents a pop for them. Would you take it?
No,
you wouldn't take 50 grand.
No, I'd wait it out, man. Be patient. If you want 80K, then wait until it's 80K in your pocket. So
but
if you're not in a hurry, if you don't need the money, I guess is what I'm saying. If you do need it, yeah, I'd take 50K in a heartbeat.
But
relative.
Your thing is worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
Right. I mean, again, I think in any investment, it's really time horizon has a big piece of that. When do you need the money? If you don't need it, then probably going to have to pay some taxes on that at some point. Not sure what the tax consequences would be on a stamp purchase.
Ah, jeez.
But at the end of the day, you kind of investment-wise, you always take into consideration tax consequences if there are any.
You sold them at 75 cents, you make 20 grand almost. I believe you're off a bit on that.
Yeah, if I needed money, I'd be cashing those babies in a heartbeat. And I mean, honestly,
Casey,
I
if you paid 27 cents for them and you had 10,000 stamps, you're in it for 27 grand, and you sold them for 75 cents. That's 75 grand. That's $48,000 profit, less taxes. Maybe you're talking about the difference in 50 cents and 75 cents. Let's see here. First class postage for a standard letter of 1 ounce or less, 78 cents at the post office, 69 cents if purchased online or through a postage meter. So you gotta pay a premium to go stand in that line
opposite,
at the
right?
post office.
Seems like it should be the other way around. If I'm driving to go to a place, it should be cheaper. But no. At least with the post office, maybe.
Michael says he thinks stamps will be considered personal property and no taxes on selling personal property.
Yeah, I don't know. That's why I was saying I can't intelligently comment on that one.
Thomas wants to know when they're arresting Obama.
I'd say never.
I don't know. We'll be back, 7 o'clock hour, right after the news.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on this show are not the opinions of TeleSouth Communications, its management, or advertisers.
No matter where you're from, Abbeville, Batesville, D'Iberville, or any other ville in the SIP, you're starting your day off right. Mornings with Richard Cross. SuperTalk, Mississippi.
He gets off on country music, cause disco left him cold. And he's got young friends and a new wave, but he's just too friggin' old. And he dreams at night of Woodstock.
Yeah, the stupid decimal got me. My math example on the stamps, not great. You were probably smart enough to know that when I was saying it earlier, but yeah, the 27-cent stamps at 10,000 of them, that's $2,700, not $27,000. Thank you to those of you who pointed out that the math was not mathing, that the decimals weren't decimaling. It's good to know.
I would have caught it if I'd had my abacus, but I did not.
I know. I would have caught it if I had had my third cup of coffee, perhaps. Good morning. Glad to be with you. Today is July 22nd, 2025. We are on the front porch of the Neshoba County Fair. Getting ready to go into Mississippi's giant house party. We're going to do that with the president of the fair, Representative Scott Bounds, coming up in just a little while. Former St. Louis Cardinals player, 4-time Gold Glover, manager for, what was it, 8 years, 10 years? With the ball club, Mike Matheny, going to join us this morning. He is headlining the Night of Champions event at Delta State, fundraising event there for the Delta State Athletics program. Look forward to that conversation coming up at 8:30 this morning with you. This hour of mornings is brought to you by MWG Employer Services. Find them online at mwgemployerservices.com. If you're struggling with payroll, HR issues of any kind, let MWG help. It's what they do. And it's not just that they're going to fix the problem for you, they're also going to create an ongoing solution for you. Like an interactive dashboard that you and your employees will be able to use that's part of the custom plan that fits you and just you. Full range of employer services at MWG, 601-206-7966, MWGEmployerServices.com. I have a controversial take, Lance, I think.
Bring it on.
So Thomas, and Thomas may have been a little bit tongue-in-cheek when he asked this, I don't know, before the break. He said, when are they arresting Obama? If President Barack Obama came up with, directed, allowed a treasonous misinformation Russian interference campaign to happen, specifically for the reason of keeping Donald Trump out of the White House, then he should be punished extensively. So here's my take. It's not good to have former U.S. presidents go to jail. It's not good for former U.S. presidents, regardless of party affiliation, to be arrested. It's not a good look. If the things that are alleged are true, is it deserved? Absolutely. Would it be beautiful retribution? Would there be a level of irony for all that Democrats really wanted to see was Donald Trump in jail for the last 8 years, for the last 4 years, for the last however many years, and it's their savior, Barack Obama, that ends up in jail? Would that be beautifully ironic? Yeah, of course it would. And it would be deserved if the things that are alleged in this Russia hoax story are true. And yet, I maintain, not a great thing for former presidents, or current presidents of the United States for that matter, to be sitting in a jail cell.
Short term,
to be arrested.
Yeah, short term, it solves a lot of anger and angst for one side and creates a lot more for the other. But what are you opening the door for later on? What happens? Is this something that every time you have an election, you're going to have this worry after?
There's that. But we have seen world leaders arrested and thrown into jail. And you know what it looks like? Like it looks like cartoon land. It looks like a banana republic.
Well, Putin did it to his, and I guess you could follow suit.
That's not what we are. That's not what we've been. Brent says if you arrest Obama, you got to arrest Hillary Clinton. I mean, the number of things that the Clintons should probably be arrested for and have gone to jail for is like, the list is long and distinguished. And I'm not dismissing those things. I'm just saying that on the global stage, the President of the United States being arrested and put in prison, not a great thing.
Well, we have the point here, show some respect for a former president. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with showing respect.
No.
I just think that
he's saying you should say his whole name. That's a shot at him.
Oh, I got you. I don't care about respect for the office or the person or whoever. The reality is that people should know what was done, but should you prosecute? Should you throw an ex-president in jail or a former vice president? I mean, those are the things that.
Well, I have a great deal of respect for the office of the President of the United States.
I'm not going to sit here and say that I respect Richard Nixon for the things that he did. I mean, that people can have their own opinions on that. I have no respect for Barack Obama, none for Joe Biden, zero. I don't care if they were the President of the United States. I really don't. What they did to the country, no, I don't agree. So I respect the office of the president, but I don't have to respect the person. But again, I don't want to see him in jail. I don't know if that's the look.
See, I knew this was coming, and that's okay. That's okay. Jeff says, sounds like you think a president is above the law because it will not look good. No.
I don't think that's what you're saying.
No. Like, listen to the entirety of what I'm saying. And it's one of those things where I'm okay, like, stop with the nobody is above the, can we just play the meme? Like, let's have an adult conversation here, is what I'm saying, just for a second. Let's have an adult conversation. I'm not a Barack Obama fan. I'm not a Joe Biden fan. I think they were ineffective leaders. I think they were nefarious. I think they did things that were illegal in office. I think they deserve, if those things are proven to be true, I'm saying it again, I think they deserve, if those things are proven to be true, to be penalized for their actions, to be held accountable for their actions in the same way that you would or I would, and yet still I think it's a bad look for a president or former president of these United States of America to be perp-walked, cuffed, photographed in an orange jumpsuit, and put in jail. I thought it was a bad look for the United States when it was Donald Trump, and it was the other side that was responsible.
He made a lot of money off
I think
the
it would be a
books.
bad look if it was Donald Trump and the Republican side responsible, and you got Obama or Biden or Hillary Clinton in an orange jumpsuit taking a perp walk picture.
I wouldn't mind a civil suit, honestly. I mean,
fine, whatever.
Not a criminal proceeding, and to fine him. Dude's made a ton of money off of being the president.
The argument is not whether or not it should happen or shouldn't happen. That's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying, as an American citizen, as somebody who believes in our country and who wants our country to be great, regardless of who is in the position of leadership, I don't think it's a good look. In the same way that, let me just completely change it. Let's say that we go to a particular church and a preacher or pastor gets involved in something they shouldn't be, and it's illegal. Should they be arrested? Yes. Should they be put in jail? Yes. Is that a good look for the church? No. That's the conversation that we're having here. In terms of, do I want Barack Obama arrested? Do I want to see Hillary Clinton? I don't even know how to answer that. It is, man, this whole deep state thing, and I say that like that's some new deal that we just found out about. Like, ooh, did you hear about the deep state? The depths at which you have high-level leaders in American government who are actively working not only to hide, not only to cover up, but to actively subvert, to work against our country, it's disgusting. Disgusting. I don't know how you fix it. I feel like they're trying. Cash and Dan are running into brick walls.
From the Venable Glass Traffic Center, look for heavy congestion 20 eastbound at State Street. Also in Rankin County, heavy congestion Highway 18 westbound at I-20. Otherwise, things looking fairly decent. Please buckle up and drive safe. Trust your heavy haul transportation needs to Southeastern Services. With years of experience hauling and operating heavy equipment, you can trust their team to handle your job with confidence. Southeastern Services, where trust meets the road. Call 601-292-9932.
Get ready for summer at Car Care Clinic, Jackson Metro's AAA recommended repair shop. With expert mechanics, they'll make sure your car's air conditioning is road trip ready. Car Care Clinic checks to make sure your car's AC system is working right and can recharge it with the correct refrigerant if needed. On Wednesdays, Car Care Clinic offers a 10% discount for women and every Thursday for military, seniors, and first responders. They've been locally owned and operated for 48 years, an A+ member of the Better Business Bureau. Stop by any of their convenient locations for a 28-point full-service oil change and preventive maintenance. Visit cccjl.com for savings. That's cccjl.com. We want to change your oil, not your schedule.
Nobody cares like the Car Care Clinic for your automobile.
How can RJ Young help you elevate your small to enterprise-sized businesses' copiers, printers, and scanners while cutting costs with the help of RJ Young? Now partnering with Ricoh to offer the best office printers on the market, you can focus on more important aspects of your business. Learn more at rjyoung.com. That's rjyoung.com.
For a flipping good time, come down to Cock of the Walk.
The big news is shrimp at Cock of the Walk. Try all our shrimp offerings with our new shrimp platter, combination plates with shrimp and catfish or shrimp and chicken, or put a feather in your cap with all three in the red feather sampler. And don't forget the greens and coleslaw, too, with locations on the Reservoir, Pocahontas, and 1 mile from the Grand Ole Opry in Nashville, Tennessee.
For a flipping good time, come down to Cock of the Walk.
I like chicken. I like fish. I like hush puppies.
I love it. Catfish is excellent.
For a flipping good time, come down to Cock of the Walk.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
No talking points and no spin, just the truth as we cover the news. That's what you get with me. It's Eric Erickson, weeknights starting at 9 p.m. right here on SuperTalk Mississippi.
All right, now to the important stuff.
Your VIP pass to hear what the most influential Mississippians are talking about.
This is very important. Huge news.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
The interweb tells me that Pam Bondi has announced that she is meeting with Ghislaine or Ghislaine, if you prefer, Maxwell, to expose the truth about Jeffrey Epstein. Seeking to find uncharged third parties and further evidence of Epstein's child trafficking operation has ordered further disclosure from the FBI and the Department of Justice. This This Epstein story is...
It's interesting. I mean, you're going to call her up and say, hey, is there any information we don't have? I mean, basically is the way I read that.
I mean, apparently she wants to talk.
Yeah, so I'm saying, hey, come.
And at this point, what does she have to lose? She's in jail. He's dead. I did find it interesting that... I think Jane mentioned this to me, and this was not like a political statement at all from her. She said... She and some of her friends were talking. She's like, all right, so let's get this right. You've got this guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who was abusing women, abusing girls, accused of trafficking them. Rich, powerful men all over the world had been involved with it, and the only person in jail for any of this is a woman?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is correct. I was like, now, technically he was in jail too, and, no longer with us, but yes. That is correct. That is correct. Some of you on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395, and I have no issue whatsoever with your position on this, but you're either being intentionally obstinate or you're completely mischaracterizing or misunderstanding what I was trying to say with regard to a president in jail or arrested, because some of you kept going to, no, if they covered it up, he deserves to go to jail. That's how it... I agree. I'm not saying otherwise. If a sitting president of the United States tried to disrupt our democratic electoral process and tried to subvert the will of the people by using a foreign country and accusing them of a disinformation campaign and election interference to keep another guy from being president of the United States in a free and fair election, absolutely he deserves to be in prison. Period. End of sentence. New paragraph. It's not a great look for the United States of America when a former president is in jail or is convicted of a crime, especially the crime of treason. I think those two thoughts are allowed to exist together. Like, I don't think I'm crazy when I say, like, I can be like, the idea of a president of the United States in jail makes me sad as an American. Does it make me sad for Barack Obama? No. If Barack Obama did the things that he is accused of doing, if Hillary Clinton did the things that she is accused of doing, should she be in jail? Would I shed a tear for it? No. I might even smile about it. And at the same time, I would be like, it's kind of sad that a former Secretary of State and a senator, a former president, who elicited a passion among his voters that has not been seen since, I don't know.
Well, I mean, treason is
treason
is so difficult to prove. I mean, let's just be realistic here. Who is going to go sit down? You need 2 witnesses to prove these acts of war against the United States or adhering to its enemies or giving them aid and comfort. You need 2 people to sit down and say, yeah, I specifically witnessed Barack Obama do this. Now, you tell me who the 2 people are going to be.
Well,
let's see you want to throw them in jail, you got to be able to prove this, and you got to be able to prosecute it, and then you got to throw them in jail. Who is going to be the 2 witnesses that's going to sit down? Anybody? You think they're all going to be walking around and,
Well, and you don't have to have 2 if you've got other proof.
I mean, the testimony of 2 witnesses is part of the equation of treason. So,
yeah.
But I mean, I'm just saying, I think it's very difficult to prove treason. It would be much easier to if you wanted to, penalize them, to do it in another way. I mean, I don't know if a 4-year treason trial for a president and an ex-president or in a VP is a smart move. I mean, half the country voted for this guy. I mean, what do you think is going to? You think 50% of the population is just going to sit back and watch TV and enjoy this? I mean, what kind of division are we creating even further in our country if we think that this is a good idea? And again, I know they're guilty. I'm not an idiot. Y'all aren't either. But putting people in jail, you got to have proof. You got to prosecute. You got to have witnesses. They can't even come up with one witness for Epstein without him dying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, who were the witnesses for P. Diddy? Dude had plenty of money. He's going to end up spending a couple years in jail because he took a hooker across state lines. Now, what is all the other stuff? All this, huge news. Oh, he's going away forever. You really think you can put Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in jail? Or is this just a waste of time?
Well, and let's be honest. There's another layer to this. Do you remember how parts of the United States reacted in the wake of the George Floyd story?
I remember Rodney King. I grew up in that. I remember the George Floyd, all this stuff. It didn't go well.
Yep.
Do we want to divide the country even further? Or do you want to heal it and let's get back to doing some dang business, solving problems, coming at a position of strength, getting out of wars, making sure people that are poor and can't eat got food, ones that need education get an education, and don't sit on the government for the rest of their lives? How about we do that? How about let's get health care to a point where most people can afford it without a subsidy?
C-Spire text line open to you at 601-879-4395. Scott Bound's going to join us coming up in a few minutes. We will lighten the conversation a little bit as we get ready for the start of the Neshoba County Fair, which is coming up. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to a visit with Mike Matheny coming up a little bit later today as well. I will read more of your messages. And I mean, this is a BS. No one is above the law.
No one has said that anyone is above the law.
I agree.
The fact is, you still have to prosecute. You have to. I mean, what's the point of doing it if you can't put them in jail? Was this a dog and pony show?
Walter says, "What are they distracting us from?" That's another thing that we've seen a lot of. Like, I've seen a lot of people that go, "Oh, Trump's just trying to distract from, the Epstein conversation or whatever." This idea that a president and a presidential administration can't be engaged in more than one thing at a time is baffling to me. I've never understood that. Oh, well, he's just trying to create a distraction. Well, I mean, maybe. I suppose that's possible. But all those things, Lance, that you outlined a second ago are kind of happening right now under Donald Trump in terms of a wide open stock market and an economy that is thriving.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're able to juggle more than one thing.
A border situation that is more under control than it has been in a couple of decades.
And let's say he has defied experts with the economy. He's defied experts with tariffs. He has. I mean, let's be realistic. If you want to chalk up wins, there's a lot of smart people that look like idiots right now because the things that he has pushed through, big bad bill, tariffs, and the border have been successful.
This message that says, I hear what you're saying, but actually what you're saying is that they are above the law. No, that's not what I'm saying.
You have to
that
be
is
able
not.
to
That is
prosecute.
what you want. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah, that's fine.
That is what you are choosing to hear me say. That is not what I'm saying at all. At all. You're welcome to disagree, but don't project on me what I'm saying when clearly it's not what I'm saying. If a former president, in this case Barack Obama, or a former presidential candidate, Hillary Clinton, were actively working with a foreign government or trying to create a story that a foreign government was interfering with an election for the purpose of keeping another person from winning an election, then yes, that is treasonous activity, and it should be prosecuted. My stance is simply it's not a great look for the United States on the world. Oh, Richard, don't stop. Richard, it is a good look. No. And that's your opinion, that's fine. Just don't think it's a great look for a president of the United States to be in prison. And I'm honestly baffled at the disconnect that so many of you seem to have on that idea. 8 o'clock hour, we will I'll give you the highlights, the edited highlights, clean for radio highlights of what
FCC approved
of what Hunter Biden said yesterday during a 3-hour podcast interview. Boy, he did not hold back. Coming up next, Mississippi Representative Scott Bounds, who is president of the Neshoba County Fair, will join us. We'll talk about the fair, which is right around the corner. Maybe get into some legislative stuff as well. Glad to be with you. It's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
From the Seabrook Paint.
Guests.
Mornings with Richard Cross is brought to you by Covington County Hospital in Collins, where your health matters.
Wake up, get up, and start your day right with Mornings with Richard Cross here on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Once again, good morning to you. Appreciate you being along for the ride. Mornings with Richard Cross, MRC on SuperTalk Mississippi. Don't forget the C Spire text line is always open to you at 601-879-4395. 601-879-4395. Looking for game-changing technology? Then you need C Spire on your team. 5G wireless, fiber home internet, and business IT solutions built tough. Learn more at cspire.com. C-Spire, inspired by you. We will take a break on a somewhat heated and back-and-forth conversation to visit with Scott Bounds. He is Mississippi Representative. District 44 is his backyard, chairman of Appropriations B. And at least for this time of year, perhaps more importantly, president of the Neshoba County Fair, Mississippi's giant house party. Scott Bounds, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Richard. I was able to catch about the past 15 minutes of your conversation, so let's get to the lighter side.
There we go. I like it. Are we ready to go? We know how big a deal the Neshoba County Fair is. It's something that so many people look forward to on a year-in, year-out basis. You and I have talked in the past about this phenomenon that exists, that is the Neshoba County Fair, and how it has bridged families for generations. Ready to go?
We're ready to go. This is the 136th Neshoba County Fair. Fair was just a quick background or a quick history. The fair was established in 1889, started as really like a one-day event. Some local farmers got together and showed livestock and crops and things like that, and it morphed into what it is now. 591 individually owned cabins. This year, I think we have 587 RV spots, and we have a waiting list of over 200 people wanting to secure RV spots, which do not come up very often. But it's a lot of people that come, and it's and Richard, I will tell you, the fair, I get it. The fair is not for everybody. I heard you mention yesterday it's either hot and dusty or hot and muddy, and it's different, but it is a very, very unique event here in Mississippi. We're the last remaining campground fair in the United States, so it's a different and unique event, and we bring a lot of things to the forefront. For years and years and years, we were the only licensed horse racing track in the state, and now. When I say licensed, I'm talking about licensed to run horses. I'm not talking about licensed for pari-mutuel wagering legally. Let me put it like that.
Not that ever has happened at the fair. No friendly wagers have ever happened on the side, I'm sure.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. It's interesting to me what you say about the campground. I mean, obviously I've seen the RVs and where they're parked and that setup, and yet most people, when they think about the fair, they think about cabins. You hear people talking about cabins and the stuff that's been passed down from generation to generation. You and I have talked about the fact that those rarely come on the market, and it's a super hot commodity when they do. I don't think I realized that 500 strong with a 200-person waiting list was the RV piece of it. Is that more RV spots than there are cabins in the fairground?
No. There's a few more cabin spots, and we expanded our RV lots probably 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. But we are about maxed out as far as capacity on land where we can make additional spots, and or our utility infrastructure is just not where we can expand right now. So I'm not saying we're not growing. We're growing. The investment that people are putting back into cabins, if they tear down and rebuild, or if they buy, is off the charts. And we've got, as a board, we've got to be able to continue to put on a safe and a good fair thing, one that families can come to and continue to enjoy. And it's really, this week, it's really gearing up to the crescendo when it opens up on Friday. And we got a lot of things planned this year. Me being an elected official also, it's one thing that's unique, or one thing that's a little bit different for us this year, is that we're in the middle of a statewide election cycle. So we're 2 years into a 4-year term. So typically the political speaking and political fireworks may be a little subdued this year. But everybody and their brother deciding they're going to run for governor, which I'm not. So let me put that out there. Everybody else is. I'm not.
Breaking news on Mornings with Richard Cross. Scott Bounds not going to be running for governor in 2026. 27. Sorry, 2027 or 2026.
But we got 2 days of political speaking on Wednesday and Thursday. Of course, all of our schedules can be accessed at NeshobaCountyFair.org. We got a flip book on that as the program, but we got daily schedules also, so whatever you want to do. But we still got a good political speaking lineup scheduled, Richard, for Wednesday and Thursday of the fair next week. That'll be July the 30th and 31st of next week. And, of course, the horse racing kicks off on Sunday afternoon, runs through Friday. Just the things that we continue to do, the national entertainment, the late night bands, just all the things that are synonymous with the Harley-Dixie Triathlon. The Harley-Dixie is the triathlon, is the oldest contiguous running triathlon in the United States. Only the Ironman in Hawaii, if they still do that. I'm not even sure if they still do that. But this is the 46th year of the running of the Harley-Dixie Triathlon, which finishes at the fair. So lot of the same things, but a lot of new things. We want to encourage people to come out and try and experience the fair. And we want to offer a hospitality to the degree that we can, and we want people to enjoy the fair, but it is going to be hot. It is going to be hot. I mean, looking ahead to the forecast.
Yeah.
A lot of good things going to be happening. We're looking forward to having you all there.
I didn't realize this. Looks like the Ironman World Championship in Hawaii ended in 2022, so I guess it is still longest running. That was 1978 to 2022. Where does the swimming piece of the Ironman Fair take place?
Lake Titicaca in Louisville.
Okay.
They swim a half of Lake Titicaca in Louisville, and then they bike 27.5 miles to Philadelphia, and then they run the 5.5 miles from Philadelphia, and then finish at the grandstand at the fairgrounds.
There you go.
And these guys that do this, Richard, I mean, they're doing this in less than 2 hours. I've always been amazed Bill to do that kind of event and let's swim half a mile. But triathlon is, I got to give kudos to the Philadelphia Tacoma Club. They've been branch out all these years for 46 years, and they continue to do a really good job on doing that. But fair kicks off this Friday, runs 8 days through August the 1st. Kicks off this Friday.
So Scott, I got married 19 years ago today. 19 years ago yesterday. Thank you, especially to my wife. 19 years ago yesterday was our rehearsal dinner, and it was in the backyard of some dear friends in Oxford. Dr. Bill and Sherry Mayo, they hosted us for our rehearsal dinner, and they have been a fair family forever and ever and ever. So I always remember, time-wise, this is about where we are. Has the calendar been pushed back a little bit this year from where traditionally it has been?
Not really. I mean, when you say traditionally, when I was not at the fair, was probably ending around 5th. I mean, not April, but August the 5th.
Okay.
Maybe August the 7th. So it's probably pushed back a week or so from that time. It used to be the fair didn't end to the middle of August, and early school starts around the state, and that is
right.
I don't know. I remember we had a segment earlier in the year, or I was on earlier in the year. We talked about the fair changing dates next year. Next year we were going to June the 19th through the 26th, and I will tell you that was something we've been looking at. The board has been looking at for the last couple of years. These early school starts around the state. We were seeing people coming to the fair for the weekend, but then having to leave on Sunday to get their kids back to school on Tuesday. Yeah. And that's a challenge, and we don't want that. So we made a decision for 2026 to move to June the 19th through the 26th, and hopefully we've covered all of our bases with our vendors and our contractors that do different things and for the fair, and so we're going to try it, and hopefully maybe it'll be cooler too. But we feel like our fair manager is a former school administrator, and he's talked to a lot of his cohorts, colleagues around the state. I think, and I can't say this, and this may be something legislatively that will be discussed, but it appears that schools will be going to a year-round schedule, and that end of June possibly most potentially falls in the period where they'll be in the summer.
Hold that thought, Scott. We'll continue with you after the break. It's Mornings with Richard Cross.
From the Venable.
It's happening. You're waking up to what's happening. Mornings with Richard Cross. Right now on Super Talk, Mississippi.
Good to be with you this morning. It's Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk Mississippi, streaming at supertalk.fm, Supertalk TV, and of course on your Super Talk Mississippi radio stations. Thanks for being with us. And thanks to Scott Pounds for joining us. He is president of the Neshoba County Fair, and so much to discuss as we get closer to the start of the fair, and got a legislative session in the rearview mirror. Yeah, Scott, it's interesting to me. You talked about this being kind of a midterm year, an off year, if you will, from an election standpoint, and so maybe not quite as much in terms of political speeches and fire, but I kind of agree with you. We have already seen Andy Gibson throw his hat into the ring. There's so many others who are rumored to be in the mix, running for governor and lieutenant governor and other statewide offices, and yet we're still a couple of years away from that. When you look into your crystal ball, and there have been some moments, oh goodness, we know that there have been some moments through the years at the fair with some of the political speeches that have happened. Are we a year away from one of the most entertaining speaker lineups that ever has existed at the fair? Or is it just too soon to know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, so let me sort of tell you how our invitation process works, Richard, or tell the audience and share with you. So our rules say for a candidate to be extended an invitation to speak at the fair, if they are a candidate, they can only be extended an invitation in the year that office is being contested. Okay? So they have to be a qualified candidate to be able to be issued an invitation to speak. Now, does that give incumbents who may be running for a higher office or another office advantage? Yes, but that are our rules. And I will tell you why we do that. It's we don't have enough time in the day to schedule everybody that wants to speak at the Neshoba County Fair. I'm just being really honest with you and the audience, Richard. We do not have enough time to schedule everybody who wants to speak at the fair, so we have to cut it off. But so in response to your question, I think there's going to be some people running that will not speak next year, but I think they will be, and I think they will be there this year working the crowd, because I've already heard of some that will be there, and there are signs up of people that I'm going like, okay, where are these signs coming from? What are they up for?
Mm-hmm.
And
some signs that are not necessarily
sort of,
even promoting a candidate, but maybe a PAC.
I have seen those. They're up right now, and yeah, but I just the atmosphere, the environment, the political environment. I think we're going to really see it. I think it's going to be ramped up a notch this year, and really next year, even though they may not be on the invitation list to speak. I think it's going to be ramped up next year. And one thing, and sort of getting off of politics for a minute, and I know you being the sports guy that you are, we've got a very unique opportunity with ESPN coming there.
Yeah.
And as part of their 50 states in 50 days, we were chosen as Mississippi's location by ESPN to come. They will be coming in on Monday, doing some filming interviews on Tuesday morning. Their 1 p.m. national broadcast of Sports Center will be back and forth between their Connecticut and the Neshoba County Fair studios. We'll be getting some good exposure. The Shay Cornett, one of the anchors on Sports Center, will be at the fair. We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to. I've seen some of the clips of some of the places where they've been, and not downplaying any of the other states, but I really think the Neshoba County Fair is top of all of those. I really do think. Some of the things we've got lined up for Shay Cornett to do. I don't know where that young lady's from, but she's fixing to get exposed to some good old Southern stuff.
I think she is an Indiana girl and was a college athlete, and so I would imagine that she's going to be up for the challenge. And this is something that 20 years ago happened, right? The Sports Center did kind of a across the country deal in all 50 states 20 years ago, and they chose the Neshoba County Fair. Mm-hmm. So back again. Hey, we've only got a minute left. I want to finish here if we can. Yeah. So many people talk about, okay, it's hard if you don't have a cabin or you don't have an RV spot. For people that just want to experience the fair, maybe that have never done that before, What is their best game plan in 30 seconds?
Well, their best game plan, I would come, depending on what they want to do. If they want to, if an individual wants to be in politics or watch politics, he needs to come on Wednesday and Thursday.
Okay.
Carnival's open 8 days. That's your standard fair midway, county fair midway. So you can come anytime. It just depends on what you do. A lot of people they just want to come to the horse races. And, we've got covered grandstands. Of course, we got all the carnival food and all that. And I can assure you, people can identify you as a first time visitor. They just can't. And
they're going to make you feel welcome.
Be asked, hey, do you want to? Yeah, they're going to make you feel welcome. We're going to do our best to make you feel welcome. We really are. But we are looking forward. 136 year, Richard, and looking forward to having you on.
And look forward to seeing you next week. Mornings with Richard Cross. That's Scott Bounds. We're back right after this.
Waking up Mississippi. From South Haven to Scuba, it's Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi.
Well, welcome back into MRC. This is Tuesday morning. Richard had a power outage at the house, so he's hustling to the studio. So y'all got to bear with me for a few minutes until Richard can get to the studio. But getting back to where we left off on the prosecution of Hillary and Obama and Clinton and all the bad guys out there, it was an extremely heated conversation. A lot of fun. Thank you for all the input. Everybody, you have opinions, and that's what we want to hear. And my opinion, as I've stated very clearly, I just don't think you can prosecute these folks. So I would look at another option. And if people need to be held accountable for their wrongdoings, and more power to you. I hope that we can do that. As one of our listeners said, a lot of Americans died in Benghazi. That's worth jail time to me. It's hard to disagree with that. Folks deserve justice. Whether we see that happening or not, there's no reason for us not to pursue it, not to dig in, to find out what the truth really is. The American people deserve that. And I do believe that the American people will stand up and be heard if the truth is out there. Hold on just a moment, please, folks. Richard's back with us. He is on the phone call until he gets to the studio. All right, Richard, what's up, buddy?
So I had no idea what was going on. I had the immediate, okay, did a squirrel get on the power line and trip the breaker? That did not happen, but there were like 12 power trucks down at the bottom of my street. So I guess they just decided it was a good time to turn the power off. It is Mornings with Richard Cross. We're glad to be with you. Going to be back in the studio here in just a few minutes. You can join the conversation, though, on the C Spire text line, 601-879-4395. The best teams know how to get even better. That's why C Spire constantly enhances their wireless, their fiber internet, and their business solutions for you. Visit cspire.com today. C Spire, inspired by you. So the mobile studio, Lance,
it's working.
Becomes a Ford F-150.
Yeah. It's how you make it work, man. This is live broadcasting.
It's how you do it from time to time.
I got Will calling now. I was like, Will, and he was busy getting in the car, I'm sure getting here. So, yeah, this is how you make it work whenever you have technical difficulties. You get on a hard line, right? You just get in the car,
That's right.
head to the office.
I am happy to tell you about my friends at Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. They're located on Highway 6 West in Oxford, and they'll put you in the vehicle that works for you with the best financing rates that you'll find anywhere. Great sales staff. I actually swung by yesterday, just had to get a little routine maintenance done, oil change, tires rotated, got me in and getting me out just as quickly as well. Give them a call or stop by and see them. Highway 6 West in Oxford. It's Belk Ford and Oxford Toyota. So this Hunter Biden interview yesterday is one of the crazier things that we've seen in a while. So you have the son of a former president, and I think it's fair to say a disgraced son of a former president.
And a disgraced former president and a disgraced son of a former.
I mean, there's that too. But an admitted drug addict and alcoholic who claims to have been sober since 2019, so 6 years of sobriety. And if that is indeed the case, congratulations to him. It is a disease that so many people deal with, and it's awful. But there's a good bit of video and evidence that suggests to the contrary, that maybe he has not been as consistently clean as many thought. And he absolutely unloaded and blamed everybody but the former president for the former president not being the current president. He went after George Clooney, said and this is an interesting characterization of George Clooney. I mean, you think about his movie repertoire, and I don't know that anybody really, unless you've just got like some elitist Actors Guild person or something, nobody's really saying that George Clooney's not a good actor. He's played a variety of roles in it, but he says Hunter Biden says George Clooney, not even an actor. He's just a brand. And then he drops an expletive to describe George Clooney. He goes after Nancy Pelosi. He goes after David Axelrod. The list, it just goes on and on and on. He devolves into a part of that interview, that diatribe, if you want to describe it that way, into talking about how crack cocaine is actually better for you than alcohol. He says when you're talking about crack cocaine, you're talking about burning off the impurities, and so it is a purer substance. This is completely unhinged.
Well, he's fried. I mean, his brain's fried, man. So I don't know what people expect out of him, but I mean, given what we've seen so far, did that surprise anyone really? Or do you think maybe it was just the one opportunity that was granted to him that he was actually able to unload?
I'm assuming that there are many people that would be more than happy to interview him. The question for me, though, with this is, was this Hunter Biden just thinking on his own and thinking, you know what, I'm going to go stand up for my dad, and I'm going to go just burn down the Democrats? Or is this something that Joe Biden said, hey, son, you really could do me a solid if you'd go out there and kind of defend my honor a little bit? Like, what was – I don't know how well thought out it was, and I'm sure that there are people within the Democrat Party that were like, oh, no, how bad is this going to be? Mm-hmm. And whatever they thought it was going to be in terms of bad, it's worse. And yet I would love to know that behind-the-scenes piece of it, right? Where did this come from? Who was it that put Hunter Biden up to this, or has Hunter just been waiting for this opportunity to go out and say, now is my time? I don't know.
I'm sure he has been, from my opinion of him, it seems like he's not scared to talk. He's not scared to, take some risks. So it almost feels like this is a Hunterism and a thing where, the opportunity presented itself and no one said don't. Diddy didn't say, don't do it, Hunter. I'm sure the family's upset. You know how upset Jill was with all of this. So it seems like it would be almost the Biden camp, and this was the person that had the guts and, to get out there and say the things that they're probably thinking.
Yeah. I guess that's possible. I guess and are there any repercussions for this story going forward? I don't think so. I mean, I think that ultimately Hunter Biden's a sideshow. And so it's something that people get a laugh out of. You get people who are like, oh, poor Hunter Biden. Oh, this looks bad for the Democrats. I just don't know that it has any sort of a lasting effect that is, good, bad, or otherwise, that's detrimental to Democrats, that's detrimental to their chances. But it certainly is one of those where people in the Democrat Party wake up and there's like a headache. They're like, why? When can we stop dealing with the Bidens? When can we stop?
They're not going to allow it. I don't think. Yeah. I think that this is one of the ways that you stay relevant is your name and your brand or whatever it may be continues to get thrown out there no matter by who. And so in this case, Biden is relevant again, whereas he was disgraced and let go, so to speak, fired from the job by George Clooney, apparently.
Do you have the dream of owning land, whether it is a small piece of property, maybe it's hunting land, maybe it's farmland, maybe it's just an investment? You recognize that they're not making any more land, and you think that's the best place to perhaps park your money because it's safe going forward. Whatever your land goals are, whatever your land dreams are, I invite you to check out and check in with my friends at David Fisher Land Company. They're based in Inverness, so right there in the heart of the Mississippi Delta, and they've been in the land business, the land brokerage business, for over 40 years. That's 4 decades. Whether it's farm or recreational land, land appraisals, or farmland management, whether you're looking for 100 acres or several thousand acres, David Fisher Land Company is ready to earn your business. And it's not just buying land. If you've got a piece of property that you need to sell, they can help with that as well. The website is davidfisherland.com. That's davidfisherland.com. You can reach out, talk to David directly. You can talk to Jack. You can talk to Travis. They'd love to help you with all of your land needs. And do us a favor. Tell them you heard about them on Super Talk Mississippi on Mornings with Richard Cross. David Fisher Land Company. The website is davidfisherland.com. davidfisherland.com. Glad to be with you this morning. I remind you that Mike Matheny is coming up in just a little bit. He is the former St. Louis Cardinals manager. He was a 4-time Gold Glove winner as a catcher with the St. Louis Cardinals. Had about a dozen years as a player in Major League Baseball. Went on to a managerial career. And it's one of the more unique stories that you will find because he went from being a little league coach to a major league manager with no stops in between. That's coming up in just a moment. It is more of Mornings with Richard Cross after this on Super Talk Mississippi.
From the
Want to know what's happening in Mississippi politics?
Yes.
You're in the right place. Mornings with Richard Cross on Super Talk Mississippi.
All right, I think we're good. Are we good, Lance, or is there feedback there? Did I mess that up?
We do have feedback.
All right, so I'm going to kill that. I got to figure out how to
tie line's a little different.
Make that work.
Good old
I've forgotten what this studio setup is, but we'll work on that in just a second. Glad to be with you. Mornings with Richard Cross, Super Talk Mississippi. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for your patience. I am curious to see what the C Spire text line looks like after the last few minutes. Glad to have you along for the ride, though. Mike Matheny going to join us coming up in just a few minutes as well this morning. Did you see or did you hear the story about the near midair collision between a Delta flight and a B-52 bomber over North Dakota? This was wild. The pilot of a regional airliner flying over North Dakota made an unexpected sharp turn to avoid a possible mid-air collision with a military B-52 bomber that was in its flight path over the weekend. The incident happened on Friday, and there was a passenger who took a video on the plane, and it collected some of the information, but more than anything, it caught the audio of the pilot explaining to the entire cabin what happened. And it's a wild story. I think it may take me just a second to get the audio up for you as well. But this pilot basically said, hey, you may have looked out the windows and seen that there was a problem outside the window. Let me explain to you what happened. And I think we've got it here. This is the audio from the pilot.
Nobody told us about it, and so we continued, and air traffic, and there's no radar here, so the tower is controlled the tower does everything visually, and so they said report about you're 6 miles from the airport. So we did that. I think he realized that the spacing wasn't going to work, and he said turn right. And I looked over, and there was an airplane, which those of you on the right-hand side, I thought it was a small airplane like the one you see at the airport right now doing touch and goes. And he said turn right. I said there's an airplane over there, and he says turn left. And then by the time we read back the clearance, looked over and saw the airplane that was kind of coming on a converging course with us. And so given his speed, it was a military, I don't know how fast they were going, but they were a lot faster than us. I felt it was the safest thing to do to turn behind it.
So in midair, he makes the recognition. He's getting conflicting information from the tower and what he's actually seeing. And he says, hey, sorry about that. This was not a great day at the office. Just an incredible piece of flying and awareness from this pilot to avoid another collision. And you may have heard what he said there, where he talked about the fact that they were not using radar in that North Dakota airport that was kind of giving their coordinates. They had their flight plan, but the military base did have radar. And they're like, not sure exactly why they didn't have this on radar and give us a heads up as to what's going on. But incredible work there. And can you imagine being sitting on that flight and looking out the window and like, oh, that's another plane. And then not only is that another plane, but that's a B-52 bomber. That's a massive plane, and we are on a head-on course. What are we going to do? So, crazy stuff there. C Spire text line is open, 601-879-4395. Yesterday, and really over the last few days, Donald Trump has made it clear that he doesn't think Congress needs a vacation. And there are probably many of you that feel the exact same way. You're like, well, okay, when are they in session? When are they not in session? Are they on vacation again? What's going on? Senate Republicans are weighing whether to go with President Trump and what he has asked for, and that is to cancel some or all of the August recess, or if they are going to go home. And the immediate reaction from many is like, well, stay and do work. There's work to do. But congressional Republicans in particular have argued that, yeah, but there's work to do at home as well. Tim Scott, the Republican from South Carolina, has talked about the fact that the big, beautiful bill, in terms of its rollout, is not polling as well as Congress had hoped that it would have, as well as Republicans had hoped that it would have. And as a result, feels like there is a need to get home and talk with his constituents, explain in the state of South Carolina why this is a good thing. Mike Johnson, not entirely sure what he's going to do yet. John Thune in the Senate, not entirely sure what he's going to do yet. Some in the GOP welcome lopping off a portion of the recess and want to stay in Washington to work. Republicans view a month-long messaging push on the big, beautiful bill as imperative for electoral success. Do you remember when the president was elected, right? When he became not just president, but assumed office, we talked about the fact that there's a really small window in which Donald Trump and his administration have got to get a lot done. This is what we were talking about. Already, we're 6.5 months in to this presidential term for Donald Trump, and already there is an inordinate amount of focus on the midterms. You're going to have senators that are up for re-election. You're going to have congressmen and congresswomen, congresspeople that are up for re-election. And Donald Trump's ability to get anything done of significance, to govern in the second half of his second term, really is dependent on what happens in the midterms. Will Republicans be able to maintain a majority in the House? And by the way, with the retirement of a congressman from Tennessee announced yesterday, that margin in the House got even smaller. I think it's now I think it's now 219-214. So a 5-seat advantage for Republicans in the House. I think that's the number. And you've got some vacated seats, so some empty seats that are there as well. And then in the Senate, again, you know that the margin is razor thin in the Senate. So the ability for Donald Trump and his administration to continue to be as effective in terms of getting stuff done in the second half of his presidency is dependent on the midterms, and focus has already shifted toward the midterms, as evidenced by the fact that there's this huge debate in Congress right now is, do you work through the August recess and try to continue to get work done in D.C. and take advantage of the time you have, or do you begin laying the groundwork for midterm elections, which a year from now will be wide open? We know we're going to have some of those in Mississippi. Do you lay the groundwork for those so that the second half of this 4-year term can be more effective? It's an interesting dynamic. So what is it that they are working on right now in D.C. that's so important that you can't take that time off in August and then come back in September and try to hit the ground rolling again? Well, it's appointments primarily. Some of those are judicial appointments. Some of those are other appointments within kind of the federal government structure. And those appointments have to go through Congress. We saw it with the cabinet appointments and how long that took. We've seen it with Supreme Court appointments in the past, but you've got judicial appointments, district court level appointments all over the country. And it has never been more evident how important it is to get those judicial appointments in, not just for the time while you are president, but for in the time moving forward, right? For whoever the next president is, that you have laid a groundwork, that you have built a roster of judges that see the world more, whether they should or not, more through the prism of the right or more through the prism of the left, and we get rulings that tend to fall along those political lines. And so all of these judicial appointments have to happen. And Democrats are making it as hard as they possibly can on Republicans to get judges confirmed. And that's some of that is political game, right? That you can go with a voice vote in a lot of cases and just kind of quickly get confirmations done, but there is not a ton of interest in going with a lot of voice votes. And so they are taking the maximum amount of time, making Republicans jump through all the hoops, get all of their votes lined up, have a fight, have inquiries, have questions, on and on and on. And so it's just not a process that's moving very quickly. And therefore, Donald Trump saying, we got to get these things done. And it's hard to get that done when you go home for a month in August. John Thune said, with regard to a voice vote or unanimous consent on some of these appointments, not a single one. Trying to get his team in place is something that we're very committed to, and we're going to be looking at all the options in the next few weeks to try and get as many of those across the finish line as we can. Wouldn't be unprecedented. It has actually happened before where senators or congressmen have stayed in through the August recess, but it is not very common. Take a time out. We got more Mornings with Richard Cross coming up with you. Mike Matheny will join us next. He is headlining the Night of Champions dinner at Delta State. Tell you about that next on MRC.
From the Seabrook Paint.
Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome again. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Glad to be with you on this Tuesday morning, the 22nd day of July. It is hot in the Magnolia State, but that's where we are this time of year. Happy to welcome our next guest, Mike Matheny, former Major League Baseball player and manager at the big league level, joins us right now man that is originally from Columbus, Ohio, but went to the University of Michigan. There's contradictions in life all over the place. He is going to be the keynote speaker for a Night of Champions at Delta State. Last year, they launched a fundraiser for Delta State athletics. Archie Manning was the featured speaker a year ago, and this year it's Mike Matheny. Mike, really appreciate a few minutes of your time this morning. How did you get connected with Delta State on this?
Yeah, I just try to make myself available, and been doing a little bit of speaking. And Delta State had a mutual connection, mutual friend that had asked if I'd be interested in coming. And once I learned a little bit more about it, it sounded right down my alley.
It's interesting to me the time that we're in college athletics right now, where so much has changed with the structure of the NCAA, and then you look at a place like Delta State where they're playing Division II baseball, Division II athletics, and it's closer to what a lot of us still kind of relate to is what college athletics used to be. And I don't know if pure is the right word to use or not, but it feels more like that. When you talk to the supporters of Delta State and you talk to some of those student athletes, what's your message going to be to them about kind of where we are in college athletics and maybe even the role that academics plays in that?
You know, whenever I get a chance to speak, whether it's to athletic teams or to corporate groups, I just try to take some of the commonality that I bring to the table, which is there's just baseball fans everywhere. And people love the great game. And I think that people also enjoy hearing some of the stories behind the scenes. And I often say, you know, shame on me if I have been in the game for 30 years at the different capacities, if I didn't take close notes at what allowed individuals and teams also to achieve things that they normally wouldn't do on their own. And I love those conversations, whether it's talking to athletes about making the most of their opportunities or corporate groups about, okay, how can we build something that has the kind of culture that allows us to be greater than the sum of all of our parts. And so I usually just throw out some challenges, not like I've got it all figured out, but here's some things that I learned along the trail, things that I've watched other people do that have allowed them, regardless of talent. You throw talent out the window. What are some things that allow people to make the most of what they have? And I think that applies in locker rooms and boardrooms and classrooms, and then helping challenge some of these young athletes. Like, make the most of this thing and realize that you have a voice and you have an opportunity to go make an impact. Because as an athlete, you're being watched. You stand out. What are you going to do with that? And let's do it really well and make the most of it. And in the meanwhile, learn some of the character traits that are going to help you be successful in whatever you think is important in life.
You wrote a book a number of years ago, the Matheny Manifesto, and I would argue that this is a book that every parent who has a child playing sports should read. I'm sure that you readily admit that there are parts of that book that step on some toes of parents that are involved with youth sports today. But to me, it was a message that just needed to be talked about. Take us back to that and some of your thoughts about youth sports, because it was such a fascinating transition for you to go from retired player, little league manager, I'm managing a big league club. Your path not exactly a traditional one.
Yeah, and actually just took over the team that just won the World Series a couple of weeks prior, and I was completely overwhelmed and really not prepared. But I surrounded myself with some great people, and the whole impetus of that book was really about, as my wife and I raised 5 young athletes who went through almost every level and kind of watched some of the craziness that happened. And I'm glad you said I stepped on some toes, because if everybody agreed with what I said, I probably didn't say anything. But I believe it was just an opportunity to challenge folks to redefine what success looks like at the youth sports level. Because I think we get so distracted by this, whether it's a scholarship or my son or daughter making it to the highest level, whether it's big leagues or whatever it is, that there's going to be some sort of give back on the backside. I think we're missing an opportunity, one, to give our kids a great experience. When we put so much pressure that you're only successful if you go and get that full ride, or you're only successful if you can make it to the highest level and somehow have some sort of give back for me. I mean, it's kind of a messed up way of thinking. Instead of let's encourage them on the things that we think that are good for them, that maximize their talent. And then the real caveat to this thing is, how do we use that magnet to then build them up as people? And for us in the baseball world, I loved coaching at the youth level. We had these boys that loved the game of baseball. And I had the privilege and pleasure of teaching them baseball. And I believe most coaches say, hey, we want to help grow them as people too. But what are you doing proactively? Are you taking some time out of your practice schedule? Are you making it a true focus to go and invest into them as human beings? And so we start talking about character qualities. And this isn't necessarily jamming faith or anything else down anyone's throat. We would get together with the parents and say, let's get together and talk about what we want to see in the development of these young men. And yes, as baseball players, and we want them to be as great as they can be. We are never going to get in the way of what their dreams are. If they want to play at the highest level, yes, we're going to do everything we can to help them. But in the meanwhile, this could be an and proposition. Let's give them some tools that are going to help them be successful in any walk of life, and great fathers, great husbands, great friends, great dads. Just all across the board, we believe that they work hand in hand and not just by themselves.
Visiting with Mike Matheny, former big league ball player and manager at the big league level as well. He's the headline speaker for Night of Champions at Delta State. That's coming up on August 8th. You can get tickets online. Just go to our website, supertalk.fm. You can find the story about Night of Champions. There's a link there to get tickets for the event, a fundraiser for Delta State Athletics. Just a couple of minutes left with Mike Matheny this morning. I think about the position that you played and the toll on the body of being a catcher at the big leagues. You're one of the best to ever do it for the St. Louis Cardinals. 4 Gold Gloves. There are other catchers that are synonymous with the Cardinals. Tim McCarver, Yadier Molina among them. That position, and I know the way your career ended with the foul balls, the concussions. I don't know how much longer you would have been able to play it if you'd stay healthy. What is it about that spot on the diamond? Because I remember a Little League coach telling me, like, hey, this is kind of like being a quarterback in football. You are involved in every single play in the game.
Yeah, and that's exactly kind of how my dad sold it to me also. My dad's hard-working. He grew up on a farm in the hills of West Virginia, but just loved the game of baseball. And he had a conversation with me, and I remember it still very clearly. And I was 10 years old, and he asked me if he knew I loved baseball. He saw it constantly. Even though I did love football and I loved that quarterback position, he knew that there was something with me in this game of baseball, and he explained it in that exact way. One, if you want to play this game for as long as you can, it seems like nobody wants to play that position, one. And secondly, it's right in the middle of everything. And he knew that I had that kind of personality that just liked to kind of, I hate to say be in charge, like I'm a control freak, but I was such an active kid that I needed to have that interaction all the time, and very, I would say social and communicative, with always trying to talk with teammates, and it really was just a natural fit for me. I get asked a lot why there's normally that transition from catcher to manager, and why so many managers in the big leagues were former catchers. And I do think a lot of it's just kind of how you're predisposed. I think it's also a lot of training that you've had, that you aren't just in that little 3-foot circle that you stand in and just take care of yourself in your own position. You're thinking about your pitcher. You're thinking about your bullpen. You're thinking about the positioning. You're thinking about the defensive situations, bunt defenses, first and third, double steals. It's a broader view. And I think there's a natural selflessness that happens with that position, because it's almost like an interior lineman on a football team. My job is to support everybody else. And that usually creates an opportunity to learn more about the game, not just about yourself, but as kind of at the broader spectrum. And once you play that position, I find it hard to play anywhere else, and just so grateful that my dad kind of directed me down that path.
It's an incredible career as a player, 4-time Gold Glove winner, a great career as a manager with the Cardinals and the Royals, and now public speaker, and he's going to be in Cleveland, Mississippi, August 8th for Night of Champions at Delta State. Mike, really appreciate some of your time this morning. Wish you the best, and hope this event turns out fantastic.
Guys, I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody at Delta State on August 8th.
A lot of good people there. You're going to have a great time. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Things got kind of weird this morning a little bit, both in terms of topics and technical issues, but great to catch up with Mike Matheny. It's a really good book if you haven't read it, The Matheny Manifesto. We'll wrap it up with you next.
From the Venable...
What's happening across your state? Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk, Mississippi.
This 8 o'clock hour of Mornings with Richard Cross has been presented by Pine Grove Behavioral Health and Addiction Services in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. 888-574-HOPE. That's 888-574-4673, the phone number to get in touch with them or visit them online at pinegrovetreatment.com. Richard Cross, Lance Tolbert with you as we wrap things up on this Tuesday morning. A reminder, this is going on the coast today, and big deal. MML is happening today. The Ricky Matthews Show, starting at 9 o'clock, and Middays with Gerard Gibbert at 10, will be at the Mississippi Municipal League's annual conference at the Mississippi Coast Coliseum in Biloxi. It's an event that brings city and county leaders from across the state together as they look to the future of the Magnolia States. So that is coming up in just a few minutes. MML happening, and it's you got mayors and supervisors and aldermen and city leaders from all over the state coming together for that event on the coast, and both Ricky and Gerard will have you covered this morning with all of that coming up. Let's see, Gerard's guest lineup is going to visit with he will talk with Ricky Matthews. Going to talk with Patty Pettit from Woodland, the mayor there. Hope McGee Jones, the mayor from Collins. Kedron Henderson, the mayor of Walls. Billy Nowell, the former mayor of Cleveland and outgoing MML president. And John Horn, now the mayor of Jackson. Ralph Dance, the mayor of Corinth. Matt McDonald, executive director with the Mississippi Coast Coliseum. Natchez Mayor Dan Gibson. We know he's a ball of energy. Johnny McGee, the mayor of Laurel, and all of that coming up. So a busy morning coming up on Middays with Gerard Gibbert. It's a lot of conversations with mayors.
That's a mayoring going on there.
The mayors, they are a mayoring. So a lot happening. A lot happening today and in the coming days. We haven't really talked about Stephen Colbert. I guess mentioned it in passing yesterday. He had the chance. By the way, when you fire somebody, is giving them not just a lot of runway, but an open microphone for a year a good idea? Because I'm not sure that I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I had kind of don't care mindset, and on air. Like,
yeah,
what have I got to lose here?
Are they going to continue to do what is in the best interest of the employer when they've been fired from their job? I resigned from a job one time, and I thought I did it the right way, right? I wrote a letter, and I thanked all the people for the opportunity and, gave my 2 weeks notice and said in that, hey, if you need more than the 2 weeks, happy to work with you on that. Just wanted to leave in the right way. And they accepted my letter of resignation. And I thought, all right, so I got 2 weeks and get out of here and tell everybody goodbye. And about an hour later, I got a message from the person that was in charge of HR. It said, hey, go and get your computer cleaned off and everything else. I was like, all right, I'll get to work on that. And then like an hour later, it was like, hey, have you gotten your computer cleaned and gotten all your personal things yet? You're good to go. I was like, well, I gave you a 2 weeks notice. I'll hang around and do all the, tie up any loose ends. They're like, no, we got it. You just go ahead and you can turn in your key fob and get your computer cleaned out. Any personal effects you got in your desk, you're good. And you'll still get a paycheck for the next 2 weeks, but we wish you well.
Wow.
I was like, oh, that. Now, that's not always how it happens, but in a corporate setting, that is how it happens. They're like, you've said you're leaving. We appreciate your time here. Going to be best for you and for us to move on. And I had somebody with a lot of wisdom tell me one time, like, hey, the second you make a decision that you have to fire someone, that you have to end someone's employment, you're doing a disservice to both them and yourself every second that they're there beyond the time that you've made that decision. Like, nothing good happens at that point. So Stephen Colbert's got a year left. And, of course, last night was his kind of first show after all the people had to come to his aid over the weekend. Thanked his friends and colleagues, and then said one key mistake, they left me alive. He took a shot at Trump with an expletive. He referenced the $40 million that CBS reportedly is losing annually on The Late Show, and he said, $40 million is a big number. I could see us losing $24 million, but where could Paramount possibly have spent that other $16 million? Obviously referencing the settlement with Trump. And all of his little late-night cronies have come to his aid as well. Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and John Oliver and Jon Stewart. They're all talking about how this is censorship. This parallel between censorship and business, not the same thing. You weren't funny. You were losing money. You had become a partisan hack. And you were costing us $40 million a year, and we need to get that off of our balance sheet before we do this massive billion-dollar merger. It's really not all that hard to understand. And yet, it's now a cause. It is a cause. We've all got to come to the aid of Stephen Colbert. Or not. You can sit that one out if you'd like. Thanks for being with us. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk, Mississippi. Lance, appreciate you keeping us between the ditches with our issues this morning. Always fun to be with you. See you, buddy.
Same here, brother. See you tomorrow.
We will wrap things up right now. This hour of the show brought to you by Pine Grove Behavioral Health. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning. Have a great Tuesday.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.